Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. Happy Freaky Friday to all you freaks out there. Hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money, and there is no day like Freaky Friday. Guys, we of course have our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay coming your way in today's video. And like we do every single Friday, we have a little giveaway contest here. All you gotta do is comment Freaky down below, and if today's parlay hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. Same rules apply as they do over on my NBA player prop videos, so if you guys have watched those, the same thing here. You can comment on both of them and get double the chances to go ahead and win. I probably won't pick the same person twice, but you get a better chance to go ahead and hit one of these. Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay, massive odds, over plus 700 in today's MLB parlay. Haven't had the best week so far, so we definitely need to go ahead and cash this one here, and I think we have a really good shot to go ahead and do that. We did lose last night. First one of our ladder challenge, we had a 2-leg parlay. Jaron Duran, unfortunately, over 1.5 hits, 1 RBIs. He finished with just 1 hit. Could not get the run or the RBI part of it. So we did have the Patrick Bailey under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. That leg did hit. But unfortunately, with a parlay, you got to hit both. So no win last night. However, I feel very confident coming into today's video that we can go ahead and cash a parlay. Let's not waste any time, guys. Let's dive right into today's picks. All right, guys, wasting no time, jumping right into the outlier screen. Our first player prop in today's slate, our first leg of our 5-leg parlay, comes from the Nationals-Reds game, 6:10 p.m. first pitch. We got Hunter Green of the Cincinnati Reds under 2.5 earned runs. And yes, we are using alternate lines and DraftKings for today's parlay. So this one is minus 170 over on DraftKings. A few of these legs are available on BetMGM. A few are available over on, let's see, Caesars. You can find some on Sleeper, but only DraftKings has all 5 legs available. Now, so far this year, a 67% hit rate on this under for Hunter Green. 4 out of 6 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 1.83 earned runs per game over the 6 starts he's had this year. Now, he has failed to cash the under in each of his last 2 starts. He had 3 runs allowed versus Colorado, 5 runs allowed against Baltimore. But besides those 2 data points, the rest of the data across the board is very solid. Even look at his last 20 games dating back to last year, a 75% hit rate. 15 of his last 20 starts, he's cashed the under, averaging 1.5 earned runs per game. So really good data here. And from a head-to-head perspective, it's a small sample size. With the last time he played Washington on March 30th of last year, he only had 2 earned runs in that game, and what ended up being a 7-6 loss for Cincinnati. But again, pretty good numbers across the board. Overall, last year, he had a 73% hit rate on this under, 67% so far this year. And looking down below at the batting, Washington versus right-handed pitchers. Now, they're overall this year 18th in batting average. You can kind of see here, they're not a terrible hitting team, but I certainly want to call them a great hitting team in terms of batting versus right-handed pitchers. And looking at Hunter Green's numbers right now, 94th percentile in terms of batting average allowed. Straight green bean across the board here. Some really good numbers for Hunter Green. Couple of shaky starts, but I think we got a little bit of bounce back effort here for Hunter Green. Again, Washington, they're not a terrible hitting team, but they're not a great hitting team either. I think Hunter Green could take care of business and cash the under here as the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, the second leg on our 5-leg parlay. We're moving on to the Padres-Pirates game. Almost said Steelers. 6:40 p.m. first pitch. We got Ke'Bryan Hayes of the Pittsburgh Pirates over half a base, minus 180 over on DraftKings. Pretty solid data here as well. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.3 total bases per game. He actually had cashes in 9 consecutive games going into yesterday's matchup with the Cubs. Overall this year, a 69, pause for applause, 69% hit rate overall this year. 20 out of 29 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.14 total bases per game this season. So across the board, really good data, even from the head-to-head standpoint. 4 of his last 6 matchups with the San Diego Padres, all 6 matchups coming from last year, he cashed the over, averaging 1 total base per game, basically the same as 1 hit. 1 total base per game across the last 6 matchups with San Diego, and that is, of course, a 67% hit rate. So like I said, really good numbers across the board here for Ke'Bryan Hayes on this over. Looking down below, Ke'Bryan Hayes has exceeded half a base in 10 of his last 11 games, averaging 1.3 total bases per game over his last 11. So again, very good numbers there. Ke'Bryan Hayes versus Dylan Cease since 2018, 5 plate appearances, so kind of a small sample size, but a 500 batting average, 2 hits, 4 total bases, 1 extra base hit. So pretty good numbers there. Ke'Bryan Hayes overall this year, not bad. 245 batting average, 298 BA, BIP. Not elite by any sense of the imagination, but not terrible either. However, versus right-handed pitchers like Dylan Cease, you do see a nice increase in pretty much every category. Batting average, BA, BIP, ISO, extra base hit percentage. Everything increases, which is obviously very, very good. And then Dylan Cease's numbers, again, not very good to start with in general. Versus right-handed batters, it gets even worse. His ERA, batting average, slugging, extra base hit percentage, they all increase. Now, in terms of slugging and extra base hit percentage, they're minor increases. But ERA and batting average, you see significant increases here versus right-handed batters. Again, all we need is a hit of any kind, a single, a double, anything, even a single will cash the over. So as long as Ke'Bryan Hayes gets a hit, which based on the numbers there seems to be a pretty good indication that he could, I think we got a pretty good player prop on our hands here as the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. Moving right along here, guys, our third leg of our 5-leg parlay, moving on to the Rays-Yankees game, 7:05 p.m. first pitch. We got Max Fried of the New York Yankees under 2.5 earned runs. This is minus 160 over on DraftKings. Nothing too crazy in terms of the alternate lines. We're not going too high up like minus 300 or anything. A lot of these lines are just a little bit above what I would normally consider for a single bet player prop. And the data is very solid here. You see so far this year, a 100% hit rate on the under for Max Fried. 6 out of 6 games he's cashed the under, averaging 0.83 earned runs per game. He's been very phenomenal. Solid pickup for the Yankees this offseason for sure. And with Garrett Cole being injured, Max Fried has been very massive to the Yankees' success to start the year. 8 of his last 10 dating back to last year. Overall, last year he had a 53% hit rate on the under, so solid, not great compared to what he's doing right now. And from a head-to-head perspective, very small sample size, but he has played the Rays once this year back on 420, and he did back on Easter, I should say, or 420. He had 0 earned runs. It was a 4-0 win for the Yankees. So he already did it once this year. I don't see why he can't do it again. He didn't give up a single run the last time and pitched 7.5 innings in that game. And looking down below, it makes a lot of sense. The Rays this year versus left-handed pitchers, the second worst batting team in terms of average in Major League Baseball. They've gotten a little bit better in terms of the last 30 games, but I do believe that still considers last year's data slightly because I don't think the Rays have played 30 games yet this year. I could be mistaken there. But across the board, in 2025, all their numbers bottom 6 in every one of these categories. And then Max Fried, 81st percentile batting average allowed, 97th percentile ERA. All of his numbers really, really good. It's a solid matchup across the board here. For minus 160, phenomenal value here. All right, guys, the fourth leg of our 5-leg parlay. We move on to the Twins-Red Sox game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We got David Hamilton of the Boston Red Sox under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, minus 165 over on DraftKings. Again, all these player props, not crazy in terms of alternate lines. And the data is really good across the board. 7 of his last 10, he's cashed the under, averaging 0.7 HRRs per game over his last 10 games. So far this year, a 73% hit rate on the under. Granted, he's only played 11 games this year for the Red Sox, not an everyday player for them. But in those 11 games, 8 of the 11, he's cashed the under, again, averaging 0.64 HRRs per game. Now, from a head-to-head perspective, small sample size, yes, but in each of his last 2 matchups with the Minnesota Twins, both in May of last year, he cashed the under, averaging just 0.5 HRRs per game across those last 2 matchups. Now, David Hamilton versus Joe Ryan since 2018, 4 plate appearances, so kind of a smaller sample size. He does have a hit off of him, but no home runs, no RBI, so again, not a ton to go off of there. Now, David Hamilton's batting less than 100 on the batting average this year versus right-handed pitchers. He's batting exactly 100, so slightly better, I guess. But again, negative 8.2 WRC plus. It's slightly better, but it's still really, really bad. One area of concern is the fact that Joe Ryan's numbers do increase a little bit versus left-handed batters. OBA, home runs per 9, the biggest jump being batting average allowed to 250, although his ERA does drop. So left-handed batters are finding a little bit more success versus Joe Ryan than right-handed batters, but this is David Hamilton we're talking about here. I'm not overly concerned he's going to take him anywhere. I don't think he's going to hit crazy off of Joe Ryan in this matchup. I think we'll be just fine with the under here. So it's our 4th leg of our 5-leg parlay. And last but not least, guys, our 5th and final leg of today's parlay. We're finishing up with the Dodgers-Braves game, 7:15 p.m. first pitch. We're going Freddie Freeman of the LA Dodgers over half a hit. This is the most juiced line of the entire parlay, minus 295 over on DraftKings. Obviously, the data is very solid. 8 of his last 10, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.2 hits per game over his last 10. He's cashed it in 6 consecutive games coming into today's game. So far this year, a 70% hit rate on the over. 14 out of 20 games, Freddie Freeman has cashed the over, averaging 1.1 hits per game over the entirety of the season. He had a couple, especially during the 6-game hitting streak here. I think there's 4 of the 6 games he's had at least 2 hits, or multi-hits. So pretty good numbers there from a head-to-head perspective. 5 of his last 7 matchups versus Atlanta, he's cashed the over. It's a 71% hit rate, averaging 1 hit per game. Now, all 7 of these matchups are from last year, but pretty solid head-to-head data against the Braves. Unfortunately, no pitching stats down below, but Freddie Freeman versus right-handed pitchers, his numbers all significantly increased. Batting average, BA, BIP, hard hitting percentage, WRC+, all take massive jumps up. So really, really good numbers here. Look at the matchup here versus Holmes' pitches. We see here that Grant Holmes, he relies a lot on the fastball, nearly 42% of his pitches. Now, Freddie Freeman's WOBA does drop a little bit, right? 399, though, is still not a bad number. It's lower than his 441 overall number, but still not that bad. Versus sliders, however, his second most utilized pitch, 28%, 686. That is the elite of the elite. So I think across the board, you got a pretty good matchup here as the 5th and final leg of today's parlay, and it's Freddie Freeman, one of the best hitters in baseball. All right, guys, quick little run through as we jump over to DraftKings here. We got Max Fried under 2.5 earned runs. Freddie Freeman over half a hit. Brian Hayes over half a total base. Max Fried under 2.5, Max Fried, hold on. Let me start over. Max Fried under 2.5 earned runs. Freddie Freeman over half a hit. Brian Hayes over half a total base. Hunter Green under 2.5 earned runs. And David Hamilton under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Parlay all 5 together. You got a parlay of plus 763 over on DraftKings. Phenomenal value on this parlay. Guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. No video tomorrow or Sunday. Again, while the NBA playoffs are still kind of going here, we're going to be taking Saturday and Sunday off. Like I said, end of May, we'll start doing 6 days a week MLB videos. For now, we're just sticking with 5 as we have a large workload between NBA and MLB. So I will be back on Monday with another MLB Player Prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Let's go ahead and make some money.